there are 2 atoms per unit cell. You can see clearly that all the corners contribute 1 atom and inside 1 atom, so 2 atoms. So when you describe this, you don't have to mention all the coordinates of all the atoms. You simply say space group and you say XY0, XYZ. All are 000. Okay. I type means it will be 000 plus half, half, half. That is half, half, B direction half and C direction half. So that is not mentioned obviously here, but when we say I type, it means you have 000 and half, half, half. So 000, which means all the corners, that gives you 1 atom, and half, 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 that is middle, that gives you 1 atom. So there are 2 atoms per unit cell. That's what's mentioned here. This is called Wyckoff site. Okay. So that will tell you how many number of atoms in the unit cell. Okay. So jumping. So this is a periodic table where it shows various type of atoms, elements, basically because all are equal size spheres. So all of them are cubic close packing, hexagonal close packing, and body centered cubic. Sometimes it's very difficult to say, and because of the close energy between hexagonal close packing and cubic close packing, and some of them are have, depending on the conditions, you can get either HCP or CCP structure. Okay, so I now go into a little bit complex structure and very well-known structure. It's perovskite. Okay, and this is named after the name perovskite, and the original name comes from a mineral called calcium titanate. Okay, and but its good example is a strontium titanate because it shows ideal cubic structure. For example, the space group is PM3M. Okay, so in this structure, you will see it's a cubic. At the center, you can imagine the strontium atom sits there, and the corners, all the titanium atom sits, and all the oxygens are shown in red color. So you have octahedra, TiO6 octahedra, which are connected through vertices of this oxygen. Okay, corner sharing. And again, corner sharing. Here, corner sharing you can see. In some cases, you can see this octahedra can share edges or faces. But in the simplest case, you have corner sharing. This is the stable structure because in this structure, the titanium distance, they far away from each other. Okay, titanium, oxygen, titanium. If you have a face sharing, the titanium will come close, and there will be a large repulsion between the titanium 4+ ions. So it takes, that's why this structure, which is the perovskite cubic structure. So what is the space group? PM3M. Okay, this is not I type, this is not body centered. Remember, because at the body center you have strontium, at corners you have titanium, so it is not body centered. Okay, and it's a P type, and again threefold symmetry is there, which is typical of cubic structure. If it comes at the first position, then this is rhombohedral structure. Okay, so where it depends on the symmetry. So the cubic structure, the lattice parameter is A equal to 3.90 because cubic all are equal. So how do we describe in terms of coordinates? So atom, there are various atoms in this case. Unlike previous case, we have only one element. Now we have strontium, titanium, oxygen. So 3 atoms, and we have to describe the position. Titanium at 1A, which means 0, 0, 0. That is at the origin, corners, all titanium. So there are 4 here and 4 here, 8. 8 into 1 by 8, that gives you 1 titanium. That's why we write here 1A. And strontium, there is only 1 strontium sitting at the center. So effectively, we have 1 strontium. Okay. So, and which sits at the position half, half, half. So you can say from origin, half here, half inside y-axis and z-axis one. So that is this one. So these are all the Wyckoff site. Now you see oxygen. Oxygen is half 0 0. So 0 0 0 here, half, okay, and 0 means y direction 0, z direction 0. So this one. So we are giving only one position here, but you can see the symmetry element PM3M will make all other oxygens because of the symmetry operations. We will see that later. So if you look at all this, now you can see the formula: strontium titanate, strontium 1 and titanium 1, oxygen 3. So you have bicarb 3. That means you have unit cell 3 oxygens. So this is how we understand the crystallographic coordinates, what is given in the International Table of Crystallographer. Okay, we don't have to describe each position. Okay, otherwise you have to position, you have to specify all the atom in these using the coordinates. But if you give only the table and the symmetry, and you can feed it into any program, and that will generate this structure. So that's what you require. So for example, here you have a very complicated structure, which is nothing but a double perovskite. Okay, so 2 times of this. So when you make like this, for example, you see strontium, titanium 113. Here 2116. So you can multiply this by 2, you get this. So okay, then you need to play with the oxidation state. So barium 2 instead of strontium 1, we have barium 2, and titanium we have scandium and tantalum. Scandium is 3 plus, tantalum is 5 plus. So what they will do, they will take different crystallographic site. So for example, titanium occupies only one position here, but when you put 2 atoms instead of titanium, titanium is 4 plus. But what you do here, scandium and tantalum, 5 plus 3, 8. Average is 4. So that is 4 here. But when you make 2 different ionic valence state, it will take 2 different crystallographic position. That's what's shown here. This purple color and the yellow, one is scandium, one is tantalum. You see, instead of titanium, now I have scandium, tantalum, scandium, and so on. So it is in all directions, in A direction, B direction, C direction. They are arranged alternatively. And in between, you have barium atoms here, barium ions there. So what happens is, there is an ordering of these ions. So this cell gets double. So you see 3.90. Now it's become approximately, because instead of strontium, we have barium. So it will become approximately double of this. So we call this as a double perovskite, in which scandium and tantalum are alternatively arranged in a, what we say, rock salt fashion. Rock salt is nothing but, sodium, chlorine, like that. Sodium, chlorine, that kind of arrangement we call rock salt arrangement. So these 2 ions form rock salt arrangement. You can see that it goes from PM3M to FM3M. Okay, face centered cubic. So you have corners and then faces. So we call this as a face centered cubic, whereas this is primitive cubic. So I hope it's clear. And these are described by the coordinates here. Scandium 4A position. Okay, so all the scandium atoms 4A. Tantalum 4B position. So that takes half of half. Okay, half of half. And then barium 8C position. 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4. Oxygen 24E, 0.2500. Okay, from this is what the coordinates. So you can now see this Wyckoff site 4A. So you can divide, normalize 4, okay, and then 4B, and these 2 are, sorry, 4A scandium, 4B tantalum, 8C is barium, and 24 is this one. Okay, so now you can divide it. So what you get is the ratio of these ions, like so the atomic sites here. Okay, so two barium, one scandium, and one tantalum, and O6. Okay, so actually there is some issue here. I think it should be 12E, because if you divide by 2, you should get 6, and this will be no, correct. No, it is 8C. So you divided by 2 here, so it 4. You divided by 4, you get all same. So 4, yeah, 4 into divided by this 2, and this one 1, and then this you get 6. Okay, so this tells you the formula unit of this. Same way here also, you can see that 1 and 3, that tells you the formula unit. So you can really compare with in the international table of this is the Wyckoff site and the formula unit. So now I go to much complex structure, which is called ITC cuprates. One is the lanthanum copper oxide. So this is nothing but a perovskite. For example, you can consider this as a perovskite. Here I have given the octahedra in the middle. You can do it. Okay. So here you can put this octahedra in the middle, and you can bring this atom here. So you can interchange, so that the structure will not change. But here again you have another rock salt layer in between, and then again this layer will shifted, but it will repeat. So this is called K2NiF4 structure, and because the original structure known was K2NiF4, La2CO4, and when you dope this compound, it becomes superconducting at high temperatures. Okay, and this is yttrium barium copper oxide, and so on. So I think I need to pause on, because keeping in time, I need to expose all the aspect of it. So we have seen different type of crystal structure and how to describe it in terms of close packing or in terms of unit cell description using the coordinates. Now, to understand, symmetry is very important. So you can see symmetry everywhere. It's a very simple example is the tiles. You know, this kind of tiles, each tiles will have a symmetry which repeats. So you can consider in crystal that you have each one is a unit cell, and that unit cell is repeating in all 3 dimensions. And each unit cell will have various symmetry elements depending on the crystal structure. And without that, we cannot understand the whole crystal structure. And crystal structure is very important to understand the physical properties. So we start from the symmetry, okay, point group, space group, crystal structure, and then properties. So when we talk about properties, we all need to know all these things. Okay, why symmetry is important? It is very important in crystal structure analysis. To find the structure, you need to know symmetry. Okay, for this reason that I mentioned to you. And for example, the ferroelectricity, you know, ferroelectric property. Okay, so barium titanate, like a strontium titanate, is cubic, whereas barium titanate is tetragonal at room temperature. Okay, you can see instead of strontium, you have only barium 2 plus. It's a bigger ion, but the structure becomes tetragonal at room temperature, whereas strontium titanate is cubic. This tetragonal structure is as a special, it lacks center of inversion symmetry, and it is a polar structure, and that's why it is ferroelectricity. That means, you see, it's very important to know the composition. It's very important to know the structure, what kind of symmetry it possesses. Then you can tell the property. Okay, so that's why we want to know the symmetry. So it can be, there are various materials. There can be a ferroelectric material, there can be piezoelectric material. Particularly this barium titanate shows ferroelectricity, piezoelectricity, optical properties, okay, the frequency doubling property of this due to non-centrosymmetry of this crystal. It can also show optical activity or rotary polarization, which chemists all well known with this kind of properties. So if we have a non-centrosymmetric or polar material, okay, a polar structure, you will have all these properties. If you have a centrosymmetric material like strontium titanate, you will not have all these properties. So it is important to find out the structure, understand the symmetry. So without knowing, you cannot look for any property. So you cannot look for ferroelectricity or piezoelectricity or any of these properties in strontium titanate, because which is a centrosymmetric material. So I will come to that now about various symmetries. So when we talk about symmetry, there are two different notation people use. One is Schoenflies, that was the originally used, but now only spectroscopic people, those who are studying spectroscopy, they use this notation. And the another one is Hermann-Huygens notation, which is the crystallographer uses. Okay, so but it is same. Symmetry operation is the same. Only the notations are different, and these people use different way, and the crystallographer uses different way. Now we want to see various symmetry elements and operations. A symmetry operation is the motion of an object into a position that is indistinguishable from its original position. That means you take an object and operate a symmetry operation, either translation or rotation or reflection, inversion, roto-inversion, roto-reflection, screw rotation, glide reflection. You can do various symmetry operations. When you do, for example, you take an object and you do this operation. After the operation, these two objects should be indistinguishable, okay, in 3 dimensions. Then we say that this crystal possesses this kind of symmetry. Okay, let us see some example. Okay, for four primary symmetry operations are: first, the translation. For example, you just translate from here, infinite dimension. You can repeat these points, and all the points will be indistinguishable. So you say it has translational symmetry. Now I take one point here on the left hand side, and I apply a mirror plane like this. What will happen? This point will appear here. Okay. So these two points are related by mirror plane. Then we do a rotation. For example, you have the point here and you do two-fold rotation. That means 360-degree divided by the angle what you rotate. So if you rotate by 180-degree, then what we call is 2. 360 divided by 180, that gives the number 2. So we call two-fold rotation. When you do two-fold rotation, so this will come here. Okay. And then we say that this has two-fold rotation. Like that, inversion. For example, you take a point here and you extend this point to the center of origin, and then from that in opposite direction, the same distance you extend, you will meet here. If we have this kind of objects, then we say these objects are related by the center of inversion. Strontium titanate has this kind of things, okay, inversion symmetry. Therefore they do not have the ferroelectric properties. Ferroelectricity is nothing but a dipole order, positive and negative charges. When they order in same fashion, though you have positive, negative, positive, that is ferroelectric. You can switch the positive and negative direction by applying an electric field of opposite polarity. Okay, that's why we can switch these two and have a memory devices and so on. But if it is centrosymmetry, you will not have any dipole, and you will not permanent dipole, and you will not have polarization. That's why you need some non-centrosymmetry. That means one point here, another point somewhere here. Then you will have a permanent dipole moment. If it orders in a regular arrangement, then we say that you have a ferroelectric property. Okay. Now, I want to tell you a simple example for translational symmetry. This is mercuric oxide. It's a linear chain molecule crystal. So you can see HgO, HgO. So you can translate this mercury to here or this mercury to here. Okay. So you don't distinguish between anything in three dimensions. And in general, we use the translational vector UA plus VB plus WC, where U, V, W are integers, okay, positive or negative, and ABC are the translational or basis vectors. So you can translate any atoms to any directions with respect to the directions, and which is indistinguishable, then we'll say that it has translational symmetry. Okay, now rotation. So you take one object here, okay, and you rotate by twofold rotation. That means 180 degree. You see this circle, and this symbol means twofold rotation, and you are doing this twofold rotation perpendicular to the circle, the plane of the circle. So this is the axis. So when I rotate about this point, this comes here, okay, and then again you rotate, it comes here. Okay, so when you do twofold rotation, it comes. So these 2 points are related by twofold rotation. This is the notation by Hermann Huygens, and this is the notation by Schoenflies. Okay, for crystallographer, I told you that they will use this kind of notation. Now we have 360 degree by n. Okay, this is 180, so you have 2, and here 120, so you have threefold rotation. So you start with here, you can see triangle, which means threefold rotation. So in sometime in crystallographic table, they will not mention 3, they will just show you the triangle, filled triangle, which means it is threefold rotation. So you start from here. So if you do one time, it will go here. You do another 120 degree rotation, it comes here. Another 120, it comes to the original position. So this is called a threefold rotation. Okay, and you can have similarly fourfold rotation, 90 degree rotation. You can see a filled square. Okay, and then you can have a sixfold rotation, so hexagon. So you have all these things. So if you specify one atom, and the sixfold rotation will generate all these positions. That's why in crystals we don't specify all the atoms, we just say 0 0 0 and say what symmetry. So that symmetry will create so many positions. If it is sixfold rotation, it will produce 6. Okay, if it is fourfold rotation, it will produce 4 atoms per unit cell. It is like that. So it is very simple. That's why we are using symmetry to describe the crystal structure. Otherwise, you have to specify all the 6 atoms in this. So now reflection symmetry. So this is rotation, translation, rotation, and then reflection. So reflection, for example, I take an object here, I put a mirror plane, okay, like this. What will happen? This will come here. So these two are related by mirror plane. Inversion. So inversion is, you have here one object, you draw to the center and then extend to the opposite same distance here. So if you have two objects like this, then we say, for example, hydrogen or chlorine, for example, imagine. So like this. So then let us say this is centrosymmetry. That is denoted by 1 bar, and this is denoted by mirror plane M. So finally, a table which shows the notations, okay, various symmetry operations. Hermann Huygens symbol, just one fold rotation, which means a doing nothing operation. You also study group theory. So when you don't do any operation, so it remains. Or you do 360 degree rotation, it comes back to the original position. So that is 1, 360 by 360. Two-fold rotation, 2. Three-fold rotation, four-fold rotation, six-fold rotation, and so on. In crystallographic symbol, two-fold rotation is like this, and three-fold rotation, four-fold rotation, six-fold rotation. and mirror plane will be a just thick line. Okay. So then comes to roto inversion, roto reflection. What it mean by roto inversion? Roto means rotation, inversion means inversion. So rotation followed by inversion, rotation followed by reflection. So this will not have rotation only. This will have a combined operation. For example, here the roto inversion is given by 3 bar. What it means? Threefold rotation followed by inversion. That bar means inversion. So now let us do this. Threefold rotation means this comes here and then make inversion. Okay. So threefold rotation, sorry, not here. 120, threefold rotation here, and then inversion comes below. Okay. So these two are related by 3 bar roto inversion. Same way, you can 120-degree rotation comes here and then make reflect inversion, it will come here. So again, these two are related by uh, uh, roto inversion 3 bar. So like that you can do all these things, it will generate. So all these positions are generated by 3 bar. That's why we need symmetry. We don't have to specify this xy coordinates, this xy coordinates, this xy coordinate, this xy coordinate, this. We just put one atom here and say 3 bar, it will produce rest of the atoms in the unit cell. Because in unit cell we have many number of atoms depending on the symmetry. Now 4 bar, similarly 4 bar, so like this, 4 bar, just cursor, 4-fold rotation here, inversion, 4-fold rotation, inversion. So these two are related by 4 bar. Okay. Forget about Sohn-Fleiss rotation like this. We are not interested because we are dealing with crystallography. And 6 bar rotation. So 6-fold rotation and then inversion. So like that you can do. So you can generate 6-fold rotation. Interestingly, now you see 2 over m. Okay, we don't write 2 bar m. So the reason is we rotate this by 2-fold rotation here. Okay, this is the plane and this is the axis. So we make 2-fold rotation, it comes here. What then? The bar means perpendicular to this axis of 2-fold rotation. That means the plane of this ring. You apply a mirror plane. You slice. Then what happened? This will come down. This will come down. So 2 bar m symmetry generates 4 positions. Okay. So you see now you have done only 2-fold rotation and mirror plane. Now it has generated one more symmetry operation. What is that operation? I don't know. Anybody can guess. It is very difficult for me to ask because you are 200 people. So I will tell you that this image and this image are related by inversion. Like that, this image and this. So the 2 over m operation generates one inversion symmetry. But inversion symmetry is not obvious in this. Okay. So, but we need to understand the symmetry. Then we know that the molecule which possesses this symmetry will have center of symmetry. So whenever you have perpendicular mirror plane, that point group, that material has center of symmetry. It's very clear. Okay. So same way 3 bar, you can have center of symmetry. One second. So yeah, and so on. So just repeating. So 1 bar, 2 bar is equivalent to a mirror plane. Okay, if you do 2-fold rotation followed by inversion, this can be a mirror plane. 3 bar is nothing but 3-fold rotation and then inversion. 4 bar. So this kind of 3 bar is denoted by a triangle and a hole in it. If it is simply threefold rotation, it will be like this. But if it is a 3 bar, there is a center hole, which means center of symmetry. Threefold rotation followed by center of symmetry. And 4 bar. 6 bar is denoted by 3 over m, not 6 bar. Threefold rotation perpendicular to threefold rotation axis, you have mirror plane. So mirror plane is denoted by thick line. Okay, so we have seen various symmetry, rotational symmetry, but we don't have 5 and 7 of rotation axis. That is, it does not mean that we don't have the 5-fold symmetry, but in crystals you cannot have the 5-fold symmetry because of the close packing is not there. Okay, so that's what. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And it's possible in short range in quasi-crystals, but I'm not going to discuss now. So whatever we discussed, the point groups, these are all point groups. Okay, rotation, inversion, mirror plane, they are all point groups. Why? We are doing about a point. All the operations are about a point. Now I'm going to tell you about screw axis and glide plane. This involves translation. That's why these symmetries are called space symmetries. What is screw axis? Screw axis are denoted by N and M. N means rotation and M by N is translation. Okay. For example, 2-1 screw axis. What it means? You have two-fold rotation followed by 1/2 translation. 1/2 of the cell length, okay, your unit cell length in particular axis direction. For example, these are all the head and tail coins, and you can take this and make 180-degree rotation, and this will come here. The head will become tail. Then I translate by 1/2, okay, and it comes here. And then again I make two-fold rotation, it comes here, it will become head and translate here. Okay, and do same thing here. So you see, now these points are moving. So it's a translational symmetry. So it's very important for crystals, three-dimensional crystals. Whatever point group we discussed apply to molecules. Okay, they are not three-dimensional, just simple molecule like a water molecule, okay, or any other molecule. But in crystals, in addition to point group, we have screw axis and glide planes. So screw axis is nothing but rotation followed by translation, and glide plane is nothing but a mirror plane followed by translation. For example, this is, you take this and you make a mirror plane along this, and it will flip like this, and then make a translation, it comes here. Again, you do mirror plane, it will come here, translation. Mirror plane, translation. Mirror plane, translation. So this is what. So in the unit cell, in the crystal structure, there are atom positions, they follow this kind of symmetry. So you don't have to write all these positions. You can tell that this is 2-1 screw axis. You give only one atom, it will generate rest of the atoms. That's why we need symmetry. Otherwise, it is more difficult. Okay. Now I already told you operating two-fold rotation perpendicular to and then perpendicular mirror plane generates inversion symmetry. Like that, we can have many like this interaction of symmetry elements. Let us assume that a symmetry operation number 1 converts object x into x1. Okay, first symmetry operation. Assume that another operation converts x1 into x2. Since x1 is symmetrically equivalent to x, and x2, then the and the x2, then the objects x and x2 should also be related to one another by additional symmetry operation. I'm sure you would have studied in the mathematics this. So you can see this kind of property of the symmetry elements. So you can see this example, two-fold rotation and center of inversion. So you start from here, two-fold rotation here, okay, and then inversion, okay. So here is the two-fold rotation. So you can bring it here, these two, and this has a mirror plane. For example, first you do two-fold rotation. This comes here, then you make mirror plane perpendicular to this. So this will become this, and this will become this. So what you get? A center of inversion. Okay, that's what it means. So interaction of two symmetry elements, two-fold rotation and mirror planes generates another symmetry element. So it will be there in that thing. So now you want to identify crystal system based on the symmetry. Okay, for cubic you will have four three-fold axis along the diagonal. Okay, in tetragonal structure you have one four-fold axis. In orthorhombic you will have three mutually perpendicular mirror planes or two-fold axis. In trigonal or rhombohedral, single three-fold axis, hexagonal one six-fold axis, monoclinic a single two-fold and or mirror plane. A trigonal, no symmetry, sometimes just one bar, that is center of inversion. So these are the important symmetries to identify your crystal system. So you need to identify this crystal symmetry, then you can tell which, if you forget about on the left hand side, cubic tetragonal, if you know that there is only one four axis, you can clearly say that this system is tetragonal. Like that, you have one six-fold axis, you can say this system is hexagonal. Okay. Now I come to point group. So I have already completed 1 hour. I have only 30 minutes, I think. It's very hard to include everything, but I'm going to tell one example. The point group symmetry describes the non-translational symmetry of the crystal. Okay, so I told you crystal possesses point group and then the space symmetry, which is screw axis and glide plane. But when we say point group, you can bring the space symmetry like a 2-1 screw axis into two-fold symmetry and the glide plane into a mirror plane. Okay, so you will see that quickly. In other words, the point group symmetry describes the symmetry of the primitive unit cell or a molecule. Okay, like a water molecule C2V, two-fold rotation and then mirror plane. That's all. The rest of the crystal is then generated by translational symmetry. So if you don't have a translational symmetry, you cannot have the three-dimensional crystal. Then it is only molecule or a primitive unit cell, just one unit cell. The elements of point symmetries are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. The inversion axis, 1 bar, and the mirror plane, M. These symmetry elements may occur either alone or in various combination with each other to give 32 point groups. So it's very important. 7 crystal system, 14 Bravais lattices, 32 point groups. Okay. Now, what are the 32 point groups? These are the tables. So you will see triclinic has only one fold. That means doing nothing operation. Okay, and another possibility is this bar is shifted here. So this is 1 bar. That means you have only center of inversion. This crystal has only centrosymmetry, no other symmetry element. That is triclinic. Okay. So if you have centrosymmetric, then it is centrosymmetric. If you have no centrosymmetry, only 360 degrees, so that means one fold axis, then this is non-centrosymmetric. This material can possess exhibit piezoelectric or pyroelectric or ferroelectric property. Monoclinic system, just now I told you, identified by two-fold rotation, mirror plane, or combination. You can see clearly. Okay, monoclinic, a single two-fold axis and or a mirror plane. Okay, so it's very clear, 2m or 2 over m. So I already told you 2 over m possess center of symmetry, and these two do not have center of symmetry. So 2 over m is centrosymmetric and 2 and m are non-centrosymmetric. So when you are looking for ferroelectric property, you should not look at material which has this symmetry and look for property. It will not give you. Okay. So many people do mistake. Okay. Now orthorhombic, I told you 2, 2, 2, 2 or MM2 or MMM. I will go back. You see orthorhombic, 3 mutually perpendicular mirror planes or two-fold axis. Mirror plane and two-fold axis. You see, 2 mutually perpendicular two-fold axis or mirror plane or combination of this. So this is clearly orthorhombic, clearly monoclinic. Okay. And in this, out of 3, which one is centrosymmetric? MMM is centrosymmetric. How do you find out? You need to know the symmetry operation. And then the rest of the two things are non-centrosymmetric. Okay. Again, there are two classes here: non-centrosymmetric piezoelectric, non-centrosymmetric pyroelectric, which means this can exhibit only piezoelectric. Piezoelectric means when you apply some stress, it will show some electric field. Okay. There is no definite polar direction. Whereas in pyroelectric, there is a definite polar direction. That's why these materials are ferroelectric. And these are not ferroelectric, but only piezoelectric. Not many people do not know about this. Not all centrosymmetric are ferroelectric. Okay. So you need to have this polar space group. Then only this ferroelectric. So tetragonal, there are so many tetragonal symmetries. Out of that, these are all centrosymmetric, and you can classify into non-centrosymmetric, which is polar and non-polar. Okay, so you please go through it because I don't have much time to spend time, but the same way you can go through it. And rules followed in point group. The orientation of symmetry elements is referred to a coordinate system XYZ. If one symmetry axis is distinguished from others by higher multiplicity, or when there is only one symmetry axis, it is set as the Z axis. So it's very important. And inversion center is mentioned if it is the only symmetry element present, that is one bar in triclinic. In other cases, the inversion symmetry is present only if there is either an inversion axis with odd multiplicity, like a 3 bar, okay, or a rotation axis with even multiplicity and a reflection perpendicular to it. For example, n by m with n equal to 2n. Okay. Now, a symmetry element occurring repeatedly, for example, m, 2, 2, 2, 2. Because it is multiplied by another symmetry operation is mentioned only once. A reflection plane that is perpendicular to a symmetry axis is designated by a fraction bar 2 over m. A reflection plane that is perpendicular to symmetry axis. So this is the symmetry axis perpendicular to m. This will generate inversion symmetry. However, reflection plane perpendicular to rotation axis with odd multiplicity are not usually designated in the form 3 by m, but as inversion axis like a 6 bar. Okay, these are all some convention followed in the international table. Okay, the mutual orientation of different symmetry elements is expressed by the sequence in which they are listed. The orientation refers to coordinate system. uh, Cubic point group have four threefold axes that mutually intersect at an angle. The occurrence of 3 in second position of the symbol gives evidence of cubic point group. Remember this. In the space group or point group, if you see three number in the second position, then this is cubic. If it occurs in first position, it is rhombohedral. So, okay. So now stereographic projection of these things. So rotation axis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 6. Rotation inversion is 1 bar, 2 bar, and so on. So we need to draw. This is a projection, okay, in two dimension. A sphere, you project it and you operate, for example, twofold rotation. Now, this is the symbol for twofold rotation. Now, you see, I take a point here. This can be any atom. Now, I put a perpendicular to this. I do twofold rotation. This comes here. So, these 2 points are related by twofold rotation. So, this generates two equivalent positions, which is general equivalent positions. Okay, this is symmetry element diagram and equivalent position. So if you take a point, operate a symmetry twofold rotation, you get two positions or two atoms. Now, okay, so you do the twofold rotation along this direction. Okay, along this direction. Now you see what happens. You start with here and it goes. What it means, it goes below the plane of this. Okay, because this object is above the plane and this object is below the plane. In the previous case, it is above the plane. You are just rotating about this point, which is perpendicular. Your rotation axis is perpendicular to the plane of this board. So it comes same position. Whereas in this case, your rotation axis is like this. So you are rotating like that. So it goes below 180 degree. Okay, it's very important. Now, 1 bar inversion. So inversion is shown by circle at the center. That is the symmetry element. Now, how many equivalent points? This is the point, extend it to center and then extend same distance opposite side. And it goes below because it is above, so it is below. So these 2 points are related by center of symmetry. Okay, so these are the equivalent points. Now, stereographic projection of symmetry groups. Use this table for symmetry direction. So if it is triclinic, you can use the directions mostly B axis. Monoclinic 0, 1, 0, standard unique axis, orthorhombic. Okay, when you have the first symbol 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, when you say 2, 2, 2, two-fold axis, another two-fold axis, another two-fold axis. Tetragonal, orthorhombic, tetragonal 0, 0, 1, and then along this A direction, then 1, 1, 0 direction. So it is direct type. So now you have one example, 2, 2, 2 space group. Symmetry elements. So these are the symmetry elements. When you put two-fold axis like this, what will happen? And another two-fold axis here, another two-fold axis. That's what it means. So this is the Z direction, X-axis, Y-axis. Okay. So this is what 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So okay, three two-fold axis. pictorial representation, symmetry elements. Now I do this. First, you operate this perpendicular. This will be, you have here, it will go here. Okay. And you see, it has gone here. Sorry, two-fold rotation, it will go here. Now I am going to operate another two-fold rotation, which means this one. What will happen? This will come here, this will go there. Gone. Okay. When it comes, it will go below. This goes, it will go below. Now I have to operate this one. What happens? This does not create any new position. Okay. When it goes here, it goes below. So it is not generating any new position. So one two-fold rotation is redundant here. Two-fold rotation is sufficient to generate. Okay. For convention, we use three two-fold rotation here. Okay. So this 3-2-2-2 point group generates 4 equivalent positions. So this is what here. Okay. And this is the 1-0-0 direction. Okay. And 0-0-1 direction, 0-1-0 direction. So now I'm going to summarize all the orthorhombic 3-point groups. Two, we saw just now. It created 4 positions. Okay, I will come back again. See, 4 positions. 2-2. Okay, and this is the symmetry elements and equivalent position. It's called general equivalent positions, X, Y, Z coordinates. Now I have another point group MM2. Again, it is orthorhombic. You see symmetry elements, mirror plane, two-fold axis. This two-fold axis is along the Z direction. So that's why it is in here. This is A and B direction, A axis and B axis. Now we do first operation, two-fold rotation. You see, you take 1 and do two-fold rotation. Where it will come? It will come to 3. Now I make this mirror plane. This will go here and this will come here. Okay. Now one more mirror plane is left out. If I do this mirror plane like this, it is not generating anything new. Okay. So 2 symmetry operation is enough to generate the 4 equivalent positions. But for convention, we have 3 symmetry elements here. So 2 and M is enough to generate the 4 equivalent positions here. Okay, for convention, we have this. So you have 2-2-2 point group in orthorhombic, MM2 in orthorhombic, and one more is MMM. All are mirror plane. Okay, so you see, what are the mirror plane? I can have one mirror plane like this, another mirror plane like this, and another mirror plane in the plane of the circle. Okay, so you can do anything first. For example, you take a position here and do perpendicular. So this will come here. So the point is above and the circle is below. So you take a point above, you put this mirror plane, it comes here above, both are above. Now I will do this horizontal. If I do horizontal, this point will come here, this point will come here. Now I do on the circle, okay, that mirror plane. If I do circle, all the 4 points will go below. So now I have point above, below, point above, below, above, below, above. So now I have 8 equivalent positions. Okay, 2-2-2 produce 2 equivalent positions. MM2 produce 4 equivalent positions, and MMM produce 8 equivalent positions. Now you see, we have done only MMM, but it has also two-fold rotation axis. It has generated. Okay, you can see this two-fold rotation. If you make a two-fold rotation, this will come here. Okay, and you can also make two-fold rotation like this. This will go down there. You can also do two-fold rotation like this. So MMM produces all 222, but the reverse is not true. 222 is not generating MMM. Okay, so they are all different. But if you look at out of three, which one possesses center of symmetry? Do we have center of symmetry here? This is below, this is below. No, this is above, this is above. So no center of symmetry. This is above, all are above. There cannot be any center of symmetry. But here, one above, one below. One above, one below, or one above, one below. That means this possesses center of symmetry. So out of three orthorhombic point groups, only one possesses center of symmetry, which is MMM, triple M. So if you are looking for a ferroelectric, piezoelectric property, you should not look for material which has this kind of symmetry. You should look for 222 and MM2. I hope it is clear. Okay. There can be another like this. You can write 22M. You have written MM2. You can write 22M. But when you do this operation, this will come one among them. Okay. So you can do this exercise. So do this symmetry element MM22M, and then mirror plane, two-fold rotation, and you will see it will fall one among them. Okay. So I'm not going to repeat. This is again same thing, how you do it. So two-fold rotation, it comes here, and then you do another two-fold rotation, it goes below, and another rotation, it's not generating any new things. So I hope you understand the point group. So another example of point group is this one. So two-fold rotation I have already shown. It comes here, center of inversion, it goes there. So this possesses center of symmetry. So an example is methylene chloride, CH2Cl2, CH2Cl2, MM2 space group. Okay. So you can say two-fold rotation and mirror plane like this and another mirror plane like this. So this is molecule. So there is a point group. This is not space group. Okay. So this another example, you can go through it. If you people are interested, I can share you, I can send the PDF file, you can go through it. Okay. Now, non-centrosymmetric and centrosymmetric point groups. Out of 32 point groups, 21 do not possess center of symmetry. The absence of center of symmetry is an essential but not sufficient for optical activity, pyroelectricity, and piezoelectricity. Okay, but it's very important that. Look at this lead titanate or barium titanate. Okay, high temperature, it is cubic. For example, this is titanium, this is lead. Octahedra, it's very regular. Titanium, oxygen, same distance. Okay, TiO6, same equal bond length. This is paraelectric. But if you cool this material below the Curie temperature, you can see this center atom moves from the center either this direction or this direction. Now, this is elongated. That means you can see this distance is longer, this distance is smaller. Okay, then it becomes tetragonal structure. Then all this unit cell ordered in the same way in the crystal. So this gives rise to ferroelectricity. Okay, so these are the 32 point groups, the diagram. So if you have time, you can go through it. For triclinic with no symmetry, only 1 point. With triclinic center of symmetry, you can have this kind of center of symmetry here. Okay, this is center of symmetry. So like this, you can create this diagram for all the 32 point groups. Okay, so now I'm not doing very well in time, but unfortunately I cannot go into this space group and basics of X-ray. So if you combine this point group with 14 Bravais lattices, we get space groups. Okay, so I don't know, but I have only 5 minutes. So since okay, I will tell you at least the space group part. And can the organizer tell me how much time I have?
Sir, you have only 5 more minutes. We have to
Yeah,
start the next session by
I,
11:30.
I understand.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Unfortunately, you see that if I if I cannot cover, I cannot tell anything meaningful to people, and the subject given are very vast. So I could have given two talks or three talks, but unfortunately now it's not possible to cover everything. So is that fine? I can take a question if you want.
Yes, sir. You can.
Yeah. Okay. I think let us stop that. But I would have given space group and then all this uh, thing, including X-ray indexing, up to beginning of the ritual, so that Madhu can take it forward. But unfortunately, the time is not enough. I know that it's not possible to cover everything. So I hope whatever I spoke, it was useful for the people who attended. I can take a question maybe. Certainly, it is not possible to complete rest of the things.
Yes, sir. Participants, if you have any questions, you can raise it now. You can put your questions in the chat box.
Maybe should I stop the sharing?
Uh, yes, sir. You can do it now.